go. Let's do a bond. Let's do 100,000. And that is the face amount, we say. It's right, printed right on the bond. Everybody got it? It's right on the piece of paper. Okay, it's a piece of paper. It's got 100,000 on it, and you're going to sign it. It's got your company's name on it, signatures, and all this stuff. Looks really pretty. Okay, anyway, it's 100,000 face. Let's say that it's got 6% stated interest rate. That'd be printed on it. Everybody got it? Let's say it's going to pay interest semi-annually. That's real common. Semi-annual interest. You get interest twice a year. How much interest are you going to get twice a year? 3%, right? 6% a year. That's how we state the interest. So it's $3,000 twice a year. Everybody agree? Okay. And let's make it a 5-year bond. So it's due in 5 years. Okay. How many interest payments are there going to be? 10. This is too simple to believe. 10 interest payments of how much each? So this is on a piece of paper. That's absolutely right. So I've got $3,000. Right? That's the interest payment. That's a cash flow. It's the same amount of cash every period, no period skipped, and we assume the interest rate doesn't change. Because I don't know what the interest rates are going to do, go up or down, so I assume they're not going to change. What do I got? Interest rate doesn't change, no period skipped, same cash flows. What is it, guys? You just did it in the last chapter. Come on. The equipment wasn't working, but your minds are, right? Come on. What is it? Miss Taylor? Oh, who said that? Man, that's exactly what it is. It's an ordinary annuity, isn't it? Why is it ordinary? When you pay the interest, the end of the period, so it's ordinary. Yeah. So that's an ordinary annuity payment. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Let's break this thing. It's just that slow. Ordinary annuity payment. Okay? That's what that is. What's the number of periods? Be careful. It's semi-annual. Yes, 10 is in, right? 10 payments. Good. And by convention, what we'll say is this cash flow at the end is 10 periods too, okay? It's 10 semi-annual periods. So I'm not using years, I'm using every 6 months, okay? So by convention, I'll calculate the discounted present value of what? This ordinary annuity, 10 periods. By the way, how much money is that we're calculating the value of? That's $30,000. Everybody agree? So there's $30,000. So if I buy this bond, right, what am I going to get back? $30,000 of interest and $100,000 face at the end is $130,000 deal if I buy it right at the beginning. If I borrow the money, what do I have to pay back? No matter how much they give me, you've got to pay back $130,000. Does everybody agree with that? Everybody good? It's not hard, is it? Not really. So what I've got is a lump sum of $100,000 and an annuity of $3,000. And the way I'm going to value this bond is to value those cash flows and add them together. Wow. So I only need one more piece of information. Anybody know what it is? And I can start calculating. What do I need to know? I know what the stated interest rate is. I don't know the market rate. Yeah. So I'll have a market, which is also called a yield, also called an effective. All those things kind of mean the same thing. It's what it yields, it's what the market wants, it's the effective rate on the note. That's the interest rate, okay? So let's say that rate, what I have, 6%? Let's make it 8%, okay? But that would be 8% a year. So what is it for 6 months? 4% for 6 months. Yeah, we got it. Okay, and like we said, this thing was 3%, right, for 6 months. What was paid. Okay, the market wants to earn 4% every 6 months, or 8% a year, and it only pays 3% every 6 months, or 6% a year. How many people want this bond? For $100,000. Who wants to pay $100,000 for this bond? Nobody doesn't pay enough. So so they're going to drive the price down when they bid them, right? You still want to sell it. You're just going to have to pay the higher interest rate. What's value? It's really easy, you guys. What are the two pieces this bond is? Let's do the easy part first. I have a future value of $100,000. When do I get it? 5 years, but I'm going to discount it by convention for semi-annual periods here. So 10, yeah, 10. So we'll use the 10. Does everybody follow on that? We're going to use the 10. Okay, good. All right, so value this thing. What do? I want to get its present value. That's all I'm doing. You guys know how to do this. You got your present value table there? What are we going to do? It's 1 over 1 point what? Be careful. Don't discount it to 3%. If you discount it to 3%, it's going to be worth $100,000. The market rate's exactly equal to the stated rate on the face of the bond. What do you got? It'd be worth exactly 100. If it pays interest at 3%, you discount it at 3%, guess what you're going to end up with? Face amount, the 100, right? There's a problem in the book that has you do that, right? And it proves it to you. That's great. Okay? So if the interest rate's higher, though, that the market wants, we're going to discount it at that rate. If it's lower, we'll discount it at that rate. Okay? So let's discount it at the 4%. That's the thing people mess up the most. Right? The effective rate is what you really earn. The stated rate just determines the cash flow. The stated rate printed on the bond determines how much cash is going to change hands. Right? That times the face amount. Okay? The effective rate determines how much the bond's worth. Okay? And what you really earn then. Okay, so here we go. How many periods? Careful. It's not 5 years. It's not just 5 years. It's 5 years, but it's semi-annual payments, right? So it's 10. Got it? So what's the factor for 4% 10 years? Present value. Which is 1 over 1.04 raised to the 10th. What is that factor? What's each of those dollars worth right now? Come on, somebody, look at the table real quick. 10 periods, 4%. Everybody should be looking at it. 6756. What's worth 67.5 cents? $1 received 10 periods from now, discounted at 4% per period, right? Everybody agrees, right? Okay, so how much is that portion of the bond, the face amount, worth? 67,560. Everybody good? That's it. You got a slightly different number if you use your calculator. It's more accurate. It's what? 67556.
Yeah.
You guys told me wrong. Where did I write it down? Oh, we have to put this down. I know. Yeah. We'll try it again. Okay, 67556. 67556. That's it. Okay, excellent. But that's not what we're getting. That's not all we're getting. We get the face amount at the end, but what else do we get? We get the interest, don't we? So I've got an ordinary annuity payment. You only have one table, so you can't screw that up, right? What's the payment every time? That's the interest. How much is it? $3,000 every time. Right? It's 6% a year, paid twice, so 3%, right, of the stated amount, face amount, right? 100,000 times 3% is 3,000. Great. But we're going to get that how many times? 10. So what I want is I want to calculate the present value of this annuity, right? So I want a present value factor for an ordinary annuity where the interest rate is what? Using the 4, right, guys? And the number of periods is how many? How many payments? How many periods? 10. Go look it up. No kidding. 4%, 10 periods. Okay? See why I wanted you to understand the present values in the last chapter? Yeah? Varying stuff on that. Okay, you guys are going to be there. I trust you. You're going to be in great shape for this when you take your test on Monday, aren't you? So these really do all go together. I just didn't want to have too many chapters on the test. Okay? So what do we got? 4%, 10 periods. What's the factor?
8.1109.
What's worth $8.11? $10 received $1 at the end of each period for 10 periods, right? All discounted at 4%. How much interest would there be? $1.89? Right, guys? So if that, is everybody agree with that factor, by the way? Got it on the line, right line? So 3,000 times 8.1109 because you get 3,000 No, it's not 2,433. I'm not buying that. 24,000. We're talking, and here's an example of why it would be really nice to take this times 10 down here. You don't have to, but it might help you in your thinking. Am I valuing $3,000 or 30,000? 30,000. Do you think 30,000 received with only 4% interest is going to be worth $2,400? I don't think so. 24,000 sounds better, doesn't it? Okay. So 3,000 times 8 is 24, isn't it? So how much is that? 24 what?
24,332.
Okay, excellent. Guess what the whole bond is worth, you guys? Add them together. That's it. What cash flows do you get? Principal and interest. Here's what the principal's worth. Here's what the interest is worth right now, discounted at 4%. Got it? We know what the cash flows are going to be. We don't know what it's worth, so we have to calculate. How much is that? What is it? Why is it less than the 100,000 face amount that's going to be paid? Because you're paying more interest. Right? If I borrow, I'm going to pay 30,000 of interest in interest payments, plus at the end I'm going to give them 100 when I only borrowed 92. That's an extra $8,000 of interest. Why? Because 8% is more than 6. That's it. So then what we're going to do is have to account for this over its life, okay? And that's it. Okay? It's going to drive you crazy. All right? So, but you got to do it, okay? By the way, we do not design business to fit accounting. You know, say, no, you can't do that business transaction because we don't know how to account for it. People transact business however they decide to transact business. Then what do? Figure out how to account for it. Don't you think? Imagine what, you know, people are doing business, right? And we, no, you can't do that transaction because, you know, I don't know what the debits and credits are, so you'll have to do one away. You know. You're nuts, right? So that's what makes things complex. As business gets complex. Would this be a lot easier if every time people, if you issued bonds, you could never sell it to anybody else? Do it once. We wouldn't have to mess with this. You could print the bond for exactly the amount that's going to be paid and for exactly the interest rate. If you were, nobody's going to do that. Why would they? We know how to do this, right? It's not a big deal. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's do one other one before we do any of the debits and credits. Let's do this. By the way, what is this if I sold it for less than the face? The face is 100, right? This represents a piece of paper, right, guys? On the piece of paper, right, it's 100,000. Really don't need a piece of paper usually. Computer, right? But still, a piece of paper exists. Okay. So we only got 91,000 for it, right? Almost 92,000. What do we call the difference between those two? If you go to the store, you know, and it says the list price is $10, and they're selling it for $8, what do they call it? A discount. Guess what this is? A discount. What if they add to it? Have you ever bought anything that was really, really popular? Because you're one of the crazy people that follow all the fads, right? But it's really, really popular, and you go into the store, and they actually increase the price. When my wife and I bought the Miata, we got the Miata cheap. We got it cheap compared to the sticker price, right? A lot off the sticker price. And the reason we got it cheap was they had the color that we bought, right? It's a nice one, right? But it's got leather seats in it and all that stuff that she loves. Anyway, so you know, it sold for a lot less than the sticker price, which we would say is a discount. At the same year, Honda came out with their little sports car, you know, their soft topper, and so did Toyota, right? Same year, okay? So all of a sudden, there were a lot of Miatas for sale because there was these two new cars that everybody wanted. So you thought, well, you know, the Toyota only costs $2,000 more sticker price. The Honda only costs $3,000 more sticker price. Let's go look at those two. Both places, they added $5,000 or $6,000 to the price because they were so popular, and people were paying not 3,000 more, 8,000 more, or 9,000 more. And I said, are they really paying that? Oh yeah, it's a wonderful car. I thought this is almost the same car. It might be worth 1,000 more, but now I'm getting $10,000 off one, the other one wants 5 extra 6. It's a $16,000 difference. you're going to have to record the bond payable at the full amount, 100,000. We're only going to record the cash coming in at 92,000. See, debit cash 92, credit bonds 100, right guys? I need another what? Debit of 8. What's that going to be? Not a loss. I can't have a loss borrowing money. Come on. Discount on bonds payable. And you know what it is? It's future interest I'm going to pay. When am I going to pay it? When I give them 100,000 at the end, right? They only loan me 92. Everybody agree? But I'm going to recognize. What does that mean? Put it in your income statement. Recognize the interest expense, or put it on the balance sheet. Recognize an asset, liability, equity. Right, guys? What's realized mean? Cash change hands. Right? Okay. So I'm going to recognize. Put it on my income statement. That interest expense throughout the term, because I really get the benefit of the money throughout the term. So we have to use this effective interest method to do that. And there's also a straight line. Oh, by the way, the author shows you straight line. Ignore it. Nobody on earth uses that. Because it doesn't represent economic reality, and besides that, the effective interest method is easy. So I'm going to test you. Everybody hear this? I'm going to test you on the effective interest method that everybody uses. In most principles classes, they use straight line. You know why? Because you people aren't smart enough. I don't think that's true. You're certainly smart enough to count. If you can discount, you can compound. All the effective interest method's going to do is compound. Reverse the process. It's no big deal. Okay? So that debit to discount, now you have to tell me what kind of account that is. Discount on bonds payable, what is it? A contra liability, a debit balance and a liability account. Fantastic. What do you got? I'm going to show my balance sheet the 100,000 I borrowed, less the discount, credit balance in bonds payable, less the discount for 8 or whatever this is, right? And I'll show them that at 92. Yeah. And then we can gradually get rid of it by amortizing it. So at the end, I just have 100,000, which is what I'm going to pay. All right. How about the premium? Let's say I sell it for 105. We're going to calculate that now. But say I sold it for 105. Credit bonds payable, 100. Debit cash, 105. And credit what? Premium on bonds payable. It's what? More liability. But then I'm going to amortize that over this slide too. By the way, if I get 105 for it and I only repay 5, what does that mean? I'm sorry, get 105 for it and only repay 100, what does that mean? It's that extra 5. They gave me 105 and only give 100 back. That's a reduction in interest, isn't it? I won't be paying them the 30,000 interest on this bond. What will I be paying them? Borrowed 105 and only give back 100. Isn't that 5 less interest? Yeah. So I'm paying 30,000 of interest payments, but what's my real interest? 25. That's all we're doing. Once you get your head around that, so keep pounding on it. The author said exactly the same thing, didn't it? Different words, right? Same stuff. Okay? So that's all it is. Once you figure out what it is, well, okay, you can figure out how to calculate this. Okay? Know what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, well, let's do one then. Good. Let's do one. Same deal, but let's do it at a premium. And what would cause it to be a premium? We're going to do the same bond, but we're going to do it as a premium. What would cause it to be a premium? Maybe we'll do it in another sheet so we can flip back and forth. Okay. What would it be if we're going to do it at a premium? What would have to change from this? What would have to change? The market rate, you bet. Okay? So the market effective yield rate, what's going to happen? Instead of it being more than 6%, it would have to be less. So if you have 2% on your table, what do you do then? So let's make it 4%. Let's make the market rate 4%. So all we're doing is we're changing this 8 here to a 4. Everybody agree? So let's do the same bond, except now the market or effective or yield rate is 4%, which would be per year. So what is it for 6 months? 2%. So now we're going to use 2% discount, right? Everybody got it? So how many people want this bond? It pays 6%. The market only demands 4 based on the risk level of this company and expected inflation right now, right? Who wants it? Wait a minute. It pays 6. You can only earn 4 for this risk level. Who wants it? Everybody. So what's going to happen? We start bidding for it. We all want it. We all bid. The price going up. How long is it going to keep going up? In a rational market. Unfortunately, until it reaches the market. Right? As the price we pay goes up, the interest that we're getting goes down. Huh? value it. What do I have? I have $100,000, which is a future value when, guys? How many periods was it? 5 years, 10 periods, great. We're going to get the present value of that at time 0, right? It's going to be 1 over what? 1 plus the interest rate, which is this time 2%. So you got to get that effective or market or yield rate, whatever we call it, the problem. Okay, and to raise the number of periods, how many periods was it? You guys already told me 10. Yeah, okay. So what's that factor? If you look at 2%, 10 periods, okay, present value of something. I get the 100,000 once, right? That's why it's a sum. Okay, how much is that? That's a whole bunch more than the other one was. Why? There's less interest at 2% than at 4%. Right, guys? Absolutely. Okay, so how much is that 100,000 worth now? 82,030. Does that do it? Did we do it right? That's how much it's worth. If I invest $82,030 and I earn 2% interest for 10 periods, it would grow to 100. Did we do that right? Okay. Then what do we have for the interest is what? It's an ordinary annuity payment, right? How much is it? What was it, guys? It's still the face amount times the stated interest rate, right? 100,000, 6% a year is 6,000, but it's twice a year, so it's half of it, 3,000. Right, guys? 3%. So it's 3,000, and that's still going to be 10 times, so we're still valuing 30,000. Everybody got it? This isn't bad, is it? Read the problem and do it is basically it. Okay, so I'm going to value that 30,000. What I want is a future value, or I'm sorry, a present value factor for what? Interest rate is what, guys? 2%. So be careful, right? Stage 2%. The number of periods is 10. What's that factor? It's really 10 factors added together, right? Dollars into 1 period, 2 periods, 3 periods. Okay. Right? What is that factor? 8.9826. That's the present value of an ordinary annuity, 10 periods, 2%, isn't it? Okay? All right, so 8.9826 times 3,000 is how much? What's that one worth?
It is 26,947. 369,000.
Careful, we're valuing 30,000. That decimal in the right place. Those are real common errors, by the way, so you have to keep thinking while you're doing the math. It's hard to do, isn't it? Because if we get really comfortable, I know how to do it, plug the numbers in, out comes the answer. Well, look at the answer and see whether or not it makes sense to you. Right? So we already had somebody give us 2,000 something, and now we've had somebody give us 200,000 something. That's really good. You know why? Because they're real common mistakes. And both of these are really smart people. Right? It's really easy to do. You can just sort of lull yourself into complacency with, I let it do it, it's fine. And you write down a ridiculous answer. Don't do that. Okay? I'll do it. Okay, anyway, so obviously, because you won't get any points for it. It won't work out in real life either. So what's 82030 plus 26,947? 108,977. You mean people are going to really pay $109,000 for a $100,000 bond? Yeah, that's what the effective rate is and the stated rate is. Big difference between them, huh? Everybody got it? And this will be a premium. So now all we have to do is account for those things. Okay? And that's really annoying. Okay? So take a deep breath, because here we go. We're going to account for both of these. Right? It's not going to be too bad, really. If you know what you're doing, it's going to be easy. Oh, this is one of those. I told you that's that way with cash flows. It's kind of that way with depreciation. It's kind of that way with inventory. As we go through these later chapters, it's that way with allowance for doubtful accounts, accounts receivable, etc. All or nothing. It's way too much all or nothing. Even in this group, we have summer class here, and summer students are usually really motivated, right? And we have new high school kids, they're motivated because they don't know yet, right? Well, they're college. Okay, but anyway, yeah, they're just really going for it, right? Really got to stay motivated, you guys, as long as you can. It wears off then. You have to get yourself fired up again. everybody else is going to get to know each other for 3 weeks. And they're going to get lucky most of their classes. Partying and skipping them and doing all kinds of stuff. You guys are going to be working like a nerd. Right? Of course, your GPA is going to be real solid. Imagine working like this and having 5 weeks. People have been here. Now, we're working twice as much because we're doing 8 weeks, right? But you guys have been here for a while. This is Bellarmine. About 5 times as much work spread across the semester. It's only 2.5 times as much per week, I guess, now. But that doesn't matter. How many hours are you going to put in now? Say 2.5 times. You'll be good at that. It's really fun watching people who've been here a while. And you've been around for a little while.
Yeah.
What does she do? Every single day she comes in here while the rest of you chat. She sits and reads for another class.
No, it's just fun.
Oh, that's just for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, there, yeah, I like it. She sits for fun. Maybe the rest of her life. I take it back. You're not a good student after all. Okay, anyway. Okay. Yeah, I'll have people that before my class and after my class, they're just pounding on stuff that they have an exam. And then during my class, they put it away and do what we're doing. And that's okay, I'm here. Every spare minute. When I was in my PhD program, I mean all the time. Every time my son took a nap, what did I do? The nap. When he wasn't with me, because I was separated from his mom, I divorced. That wasn't remarried yet. So what did I do? Every minute he wasn't with me that I was awake, even drinking a beer, I'd be reading. And don't get don't ever get a PhD, turn into I don't know what. Yeah. Turn into a college professor, it's terrible. Okay, well let's do some journal entries then for this stuff. Okay? Let's go back to this one. And let's take our journal entries. What do you want to record your cash? How much cash do you use? 91,888. Everybody agree? So let's do it. Let's record the one with a discount, okay? Let's record the one that has a discount. Debit, cash. Okay, now this is going to be for the issuer of the bond, who is also the seller of the bond, who is also the borrower. I already said that, didn't I? And I know you know everything I ever say. So, okay. Issuer, seller, borrower. Okay? How much cash are you going to debit? What was that number that we calculated? 91,888. Anybody can do that, right? You guys know how to do that. Get those points. Credit what? By convention, we recorded the full face amount of the bond. Bond what? Payable. Excellent. How much? This is too easy. Okay? And what do you want to debit? That contra liability we said, named. I sold this bond for a what? So it is. We're going to call it discount. Come on, you guys. On bonds payable. Right? That says discount on bonds payable. Honest to this. Okay? How much is that? Excellent. Journal entry balance, of course, debits, taxable credits. Isn't that nice? Okay. That's what the issuer would do. Everybody good? This isn't hard, is it? I don't think it is. Okay. Let's do the other side. Let's do the investor, who is also the purchaser. Same people, right? Who is also the lender. See that? This side's issuer, this side's investor. This side's seller, this side's purchaser or buyer. This side's borrower, this side's lender. Got the idea? Everybody see it? Lender. Everybody got it? No big deal. What happens to them, of course? The company that bought the bond. What they give up? Cash, of course, the accreditors. Aren't you glad you know what debits and credits now? Assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, expense. What a mess if you don't. Okay? That's people who think accounting's hard or impossible. They don't know debit or credit. Yeah, no kidding. I think it would be really hard to write English paper if you didn't know the alphabet. The difference here is you learn the alphabet and then you learn how to write words, or get words and know how to do If things aren't working for you now, go right back to the beginning. Okay, go right back to the beginning. So wait a minute. Debit or credit, asset, liability, equity, revenue, or expense. Do it all the time, right? Anytime. If you can't figure out what the entries are here, then you're not thinking about that stuff because it's obvious what they are. They gave up cash. How much was it? 91,888. What did they buy? A bond. And now you have to know what you call it. Investment, and we'll say investment in held to maturity bonds, okay? We're making the assumption here we're going to keep them the whole time. We account for them differently if we're not going to keep them the whole time. And at the end, actually soon, I don't know when it is, the appendix chapter that we're going to do that's really a chapter. There used to be 14 chapters in the book. They decided it was too long or too hard or something, so they took one of the chapters and made it an appendix. What's the natural thing for you students when I make you do an appendix? He's making me do something I shouldn't have to do, right? How many of you want to go out there and not know about how to handle and what they are, for that matter, investments that one company makes in another? You think companies make investments in each other? You ever heard of the term subsidiary? I worked on the Memorex audit early in my career when I was at Arthur Andersen. They owned shares of, majority share, over 50%, of over 250 companies. I bet you now it's 1,000 companies. I don't know. 40 years ago. Okay? So we should skip that chapter, right? You know absolutely nothing about it. Companies investing in other companies. How ridiculous would that be? Look at any financial statement for any major corporation. Do they have investments in other companies? No, almost always. Sure they do. They even start other companies. Own them, right? All sorts of things. Okay, anyways, you need to know what that is. By convention, though, what we're going to do here is we're not going to record it at face amount. That's the debit. It's the debit, the credit. Okay? Right? By convention, we just record it at the net amount. So you have to remember that. The liability goes at the net amount, or rather the gross amount, and then we show a discount, but the investment is shown at the net amount. Got it? But we're still going to do what at the end of the term? Now let's think about this. How much are these guys going to pay back at the end? They're going to pay back the whole $100,000. So I've got to get rid of that discount. That's what the amortization is going to be. Okay? Because at the end, I don't need the discount because we're going to pay off the $100,000 bond, the whole thing. What do I need this account to be, this investment in bonds to be at the end? How much am I going to get paid at the end? $100,000. I want it to grow to 100. Besides that, that $9,000 difference is additional interest that's going to be paid, right? You only borrowed $92,000. You only borrowed $92,000. You're going to pay back $108,000 additional interest. Everybody agree? Actually, it's $8,112 additional interest. Discount is additional interest. Premium is less interest. Okay. So now what we got to do is interest payments. So this, let's say this is January 1st, year 1, okay? January 1st, year 1. We're going to issue it right at the beginning, okay? Keep our life simple so far. Of course, people buy and sell them all the time. So then you have accrued interest to do. We'll do that in a later class, okay? All right, so let's say it's now June 30th, year 1. And we are going to make the first payment, you guys. Let's do the first payment on June 30th, year 1. Do the easy part. In order to calculate the present value, when you did calculate the present value, you got the 91,888, right? But in order to calculate it, you also knew it was 100,000, right? You knew those. Okay. But also in order to calculate it, you had to know what the interest payment's going to be, didn't you? And how often they are. They're every 6 months. And how much is it? $3,000. You know this, right? Use it. Okay? So the borrower, do they pay the interest or get the interest? What side of the deal are you on? Of course, they borrowed the money. They have to pay the interest, right? So what are they going to do with the $3,000? Credit what? Cash. Absolutely. It's just common sense, isn't it? What's the other side going to do? Well, no, let's not do that yet. What are they going to do with the cash? They're going to get it. They're going to debit cash. Okay? We'll start there. Okay? So they're going to debit cash over here. Does everybody agree to that? That's what's going to happen. Okay? You know, the investor gets the $3,000 cash. The borrower pays the $3,000 cash. Okay, now, yeah, you want the interest with that, although not payable or receivable, because we haven't If we accrued interest payable, then I debit interest payable when I pay it, right? If I accrued interest receivable, I credit interest receivable when I pay it. I didn't accrue any, right? At the 6-month period, I'm assuming we're not doing monthly financial statements here, okay? So at the 6-month period, we're just paying, right? So I'm giving them $3,000. What is this that I'm giving them? What do we call this stuff? It's an expense, which is a what kind of an expense? You know, I'm paying interest. Interest expense. So for the people paying the interest, don't you think it's going to be interest expense? Would everybody agree with that? But the deal is, it's going to make it hard. It's not $3,000. Because I need to take part of that $8,112 discount and recognize it as interest expense now. My interest expense is really more for each period. Does that make sense? Okay? Not just 3. What about these guys? Why are they getting paid interest? Why did they loan the money? So that they could earn interest revenue. Yeah. So see, you guys, you can figure this out. Don't memorize it. How many times have I said that in this class? It would be an interesting study. I would tape all my classes and count how many times I said that. What do you think, thousands? A couple hundred the first day, maybe? All right? Don't memorize it. Know it, right? Well, okay, let's calculate how much interest revenue or interest expense there could be. By the way, these guys borrowed $81,888. These guys loaned $81,888. The interest rate is what? What do we use for discounting? 4%, right? 3% stated, 4% was the effective for 6 months, right? 8% a year, 4% for 6 months. Okay? So, you know, one's earning 4% interest, the other one's incurring expense of 4% interest, and they loaned and borrowed the same amount. What do you bet the interest is the same on both sides? The dollar amount. Calculate it once. What do you think it is? Let's calculate the interest. What do you think it is? How much is borrowed right now? 91,888, right? What's the interest rate? What's 4% times 91,888? That's what we think the interest is. Okay. This is called the effective interest method, right? The author shows both the effective and straight line. Ignore straight line. Nobody uses it. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to test you on it. Okay? It's simple. What you do with straight line is you take that discount 8112 and divide it by the number of payments, 10, and that would be how much you amortize each time, right? It's simpler, yeah, but nobody does it, so why would you do that? They don't do it because it doesn't represent economic reality, and effective interest method does. What's 4% times 91,888? 6, 7. We'll round it, okay? In real life, of course, you would go to the base. 3,676.
Yeah.
That's how much interest expense these guys have. So how much interest revenue does the investor have? Same thing. Oh, big deal. So guess how much of the discount gets amortized? Seeing as debits have to equal credits. 6, 7, 6. Right? 6, 7, 6. Make your journal entry balance. Okay, what's the deal? This $8,112 discount has to be amortized over the 10 payments. It's a debit balance. How do you get rid of it? Credit. Discount on bonds payable. Credit. There it goes. All right? So let's see what we've got here. I have a bond payable right? With 100,000 credit in it. I have discount on bonds payable with 8,112 in it. Everybody agree? What's the difference between the 100,000 and the 8,112? What's the difference between those two? Of course, it's the 91,888 carrying value of the bond. On my balance sheet, I'm going to show a bond of 100,000 in my liabilities, long-term liabilities. And then I'm going to show a discount on bonds payable of 8,112. And the difference is going to be the carrying value of 91,888, right? Because you were right. That is a contra liability. Right? Everybody see it? Okay, so I told you there were contra assets. that? Allowance so far we've had doubtful accounts, accumulated depreciation, right? Okay, we've had those so far. Here's our first one on liabilities, huh? Okay. All right, so anyway, we got the difference there. Well, what did this journal entry do? The discount on bonds payable gets credited for 676. Everybody see it? That's this one. What's the new balance in discount on bonds payable? 8112 less 7676. What do you get?
7,436.
All right, everybody good? So what's the new carrying value when I calculate for the next interest payment? It changes every time. What's the new carrying value? It's 100,000 less what? What's the new book value, carrying value of this bond? It's 100,000 less what, you guys? 7436. It just went up by how much? The 676 that you amortize to the discount. We do this 30 times, we're going to get rid of the discount, and the carrying value is going to be 100,000. Okay, so what is that? What's that amount? And this is called amortizing the discount. We're getting rid of it. Amortizing it to where? Interest expense. We have 3,676 interest, not 3,000. Everybody agree? It's true, isn't it? Let's do the other side. What does it look like? Let's see. They've got just one account, right? They're just tracking one account. It's going to be investment in held-to-maturity accounts. Held-to-maturity bonds, I'm sorry. Investment in held-to-maturity bonds. It's got 91,888. Everybody agree? That's this one. Everybody agree? Yeah. And what are we going to want to do by the end of its life, by the end of the term, by the end of the 10 payments of interest? What do we want that balance to be? 100,000, yeah. So we're going to amortize this discount too. And the discount's the same amount. It's just all in one account. Everybody see it? Instead of in two? On the payable side, you got two accounts. You got bonds payable, you have discounted bonds payable, and the difference is the carrying amount. On the investment held to maturity bonds, you just have an account, one account. Okay, so what is this going to be? Let's see, I've got a debit to cash and a credit to interest revenue. What do you think that debit's going to be for amortizing the discount? Where's the discount? In investment in held to maturity bonds. How are you going to get rid of that discount? How are we going to get this 91,888 up to 100,000? We're going to keep debiting it. So guess what you debit? Investment held to maturity bonds. Now, no big deal. I'm going to take this 767 and add it right here. And you're going to like this. What's that number going to be? What's 91,888 plus 767? Or 7676. Okay, what is it? It's a miracle. 92,544. So we will stay in agreement on both sides all the way through the process. Okay? All the way through the 10 payments. All right, Dean, you do the next one. Do the next journal entry. You don't need me anymore. Do the next journal entry. The next interest payment. I already told you what the carrying value is. We got it in two different places, though. What's your journal entry going to be? By the way, it's going to be the same accounts, debits and credits. It's sort of like when we did depreciation expense. It's always debit, depreciation expense, credit, accumulated depreciation, just different dollar amounts. When we did allowance for doubtful accounts, it's always debit, bad debt expense, credit, allowance for doubtful accounts. Right? It's always the same, just different dollar amounts. Right, guys? So it's the same journal entry, it's just different amounts. Actually, one of them stays the same. So write your entry, compute the amount, write your entry. Little quiz, huh? Very fun. Aren't you glad we did the test today? How should you unravel the deal? Compound. Let's do 4%. Don't use different discount rate and then compound rate. That'd be absurd, wouldn't it? You're paying 4% interest, right? I know it's only $3,000, but it's going to be 4% interest by the time we're done. So what's 4% of 92,544? What is it? 4% of 92,544. Yeah, it's got to be somewhere around there. 3702. All right. If I use this one, would it give me the same number? Of course, right? Both sides. All right. So what do you want? What do you want? This is going to be at December 31st, year one. What do you want to do? Debit what? You bet. How much? It's a miracle. What'd you give them? Aren't you going to credit it? So I reduce cash. What's the 702 going to be? That's the amortization of the discount this time, isn't it? Discounted amounts payable. Wow. So what does that do? 706 comes out of here, right, guys? That's that 70 or 702. I'm sorry. Way to go, Keith. 702 comes out of here. Am I right? So that's this one, right? There we go. What's 702 away from 7436? 7436 less 702. Come on. You guys probably want to leave sometime. What is it? 6734. If I want to do, what's my carrying value of the bond now, by the way? 100,000 less 6734. Everybody agree? How much is that? 266? Yeah. Okay. All right, 93266. And then we take that times 4%, we'd have the next one for the next 6 months, wouldn't we? And so this discount amortization, the interest keeps going up because we keep borrowing more. We're kind of borrowing the interest. Got the idea? Okay? And because we have more interest expense than we do cash going out. So it's like we're borrowing the interest. Okay? All right, anyway, so notice it went from 91,888 up to 92,544 to 93,266. What's going to happen after we've done this 10 times? It's going to hit 100,000 because the discount's going to be zero. Everybody got it? Discount's going to gradually go down to zero. Amortize the discount. Okay? How much interest expense will we have recognized over the life of the bond? What's it going to be? You guys, the bond sold for how much? 91,888, and we're paying them back how much? 30,000 of cash interest plus 100,000 face. What's 130 less 98,888 or 91,888? How much is that? $38,112. Is that right? Is that the 30,000 interest plus the 8,112 discount? Yes. Everybody agree? Okay. What's the journal entry on the other side? For credit for how much? And debit what? 702. Investment held to maturity bonds. Got it. Okay. Now, after I do this, oh, notice here too, of course, this keeps going up. What's 92,544 plus 702? What do we have in that investment held to maturity bonds account? It's a miracle. 93,266, isn't it? Same one on both sides. What is the balance going to be in investment held to maturity bonds after we do it 10 times? 100,000. How much interest revenue will they have recognized? The $130,000 they received less the 91,888 they invested. Right? Right? It's 30,000 plus the 8,112 discount. Right? That's it. 38,112. Okay, I want you to do one more thing because we can't leave early. Okay? It's already late. Of course. Let's say that we've done all the amortization for the 10. One more thing. We've done all the amortization for the 10. Show me what your journal entry would be on the very, after we make all the interest payments. So let's say it's due January 1st of that fifth year, or sixth year, I guess, the beginning of the sixth year. So we pay it. All the interest has been paid. Okay? All the amortization is done. What's the carrying value of the bond right now, bond payable? 100,000. So we've got a 100,000 bond, right? Less 0 discount. What's the carrying value of the investment in the bond? The investment in the bond on the other side, the people have the investment. We kept increasing it until it got to where? 100,000. They're both 100,000. Okay. So how much are we going to pay if we owe on the bond? 100,000. Credit cash, how much? 100,000. Debit what? Bond payable. What do you guys do when you pay off the payable? Debit it. Right? Debit, bond payable, credit cash. Big deal. That closes the deal out at the end. Hope I asked for this on the test, huh? That's a nice one. Right? Quiz. I will. Ask for it in some fashion. What's it going to be on the other side? What do you bet they get the cash? The investor gets the cash. What don't they have anymore, seeing as they, just got paid off? The investment's gone. Not bond receivable. We don't call it that. It is kind of a bond receivable. We don't call it that. We call it investment and held in surety bonds. I can understand why you do that, but we don't call it long-term investment. And the deal's done. It's over. So imagine if it is like you make all those journal entries for the amortization and then do the final one. No, I won't do that. I don't want to get calculated 10 times. But I'll probably have to do a couple, 2, 3, right? Make sure you do it 2 or 3 6-month periods, that kind of thing. Okay, next time we'll do the premium, huh? And then we'll go on to another chapter, I think. Did we just have a day and a half on each chapter? Something like that? This is nuts. So fast. Okay, guys. Sorry about the technical glitches, but I guess we were happy to relax. Are we supposed to be discussing stuff today, or me and intermediate? Or anybody have questions? I don't see any intermediate students. If you have questions, if you want to go over props and quiz, we can now. Getting you ready for the test. We can do stuff now if you want. Everybody's walking out the door. I see that. Now, if you have some questions, you want to work on that. Same next